Many thanks for staying on the marketplace. Welcome back. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana would be rounding its meeting on reviewing health of the economy. George Riafi looks at some of the issues that came up during the meetings and how it could impact on setting a new policy rate.
The meeting, which began on Wednesday, is expected to end today. The members over the past 2 days have reviewed economic and monetary data on all sectors. The committee also looked at how this data should influence their decision on setting of the new policy rate, which will be announced on Monday. The rate, which often influences the cost of credit in the country, currently stands at 18%. Some analysts engaged by Joy Business are forecasting a marginal rate cut by the Bank of Ghana.
Now, Managing Director of Carl Bank, Frank Edu Jr., has called for some divisions in the functions of the Bank of Ghana to enable it to perform supervisory roles more efficiently. He noted that over the years, the number of banks and financial institutions has increased, thereby stepping up its regulatory functions. Frank Edu Jr. spoke in an interview with Joy Business after the bank took its turn at the Facts Behind the Figures series here in Accra.
With the expansion of the financial sector, that maybe they should look at their roles and responsibilities and categorizing them so that the central bank is there for its monetary policy, financial stability, etc. And then you have a separate institution which will take over the BSD role of the central bank. Because I think today with 300-400 NBFIs, 30-something banks, all these other institutions, savings and loans, etc., coming up, the Banking Supervision Department would need an army of about 2,000 people, and 2,000 people is a whole institution plus more. So if that could be hived off from the central bank as a financial conduct authority, and they will be responsible, and it's not my idea. It's been done in England, and I think that the governors have been talking about it themselves, but I think it should be precipitated, because if you had BSD is capable, but they overstretched. And if they had the resources, the human resources, that I don't think they would have had the situation that we've had with the 3 banks or 4 banks. And that situation is contagious. It's contagious, and people must understand that when the contagion, if there's any contagion, even the foreign banks can be affected, because once you lose confidence, and there's no problem with the financial sector, but if there's a problem, it will spread very quickly, but there's, as the central bank, as the deputy governor said 2 days ago, the financial sector is still solid. The fundamentals are right, but I think that we should give serious consideration to this suggestion.
Meanwhile, banking consultant Jonathan Prince Khan is describing moves by some banks for a presidential intervention on extending deadline for the new minimum capital requirement as coming too late. Some local banks recently petitioned President Akufo-Addo to intervene and extend the deadline for meeting the new capital levels. This resulted in the setting up of a 10-member committee to deal with the issues. But Mr. Khan tells Joy Business they may have to look elsewhere in addressing their concerns.
Intervention is timely, but rather I have a problem with some of the local banks. I thought that they should have taken this step long ago, but they did not. They waited to, now, or let me put it that way, literally, to be able to now speak to the president or something. Initially,
it's too late.
It is not too late. I mean, still something can be done about it. But of course, I would have preferred that they were more proactive when the first directive came in last year. They should have been more proactive in order to get stakeholders talking about whether do we really need the 400 million, and then do some sort of empirical research and evidence gathering so that we'll be able to prove whether actually the banks in Ghana need 400 or they don't need the 400 million and so on. But I think they did not do that, and that has now come to haunt them, and now they need the president's intervention to be able to do that. But I think that we'll wait for the president, the committee that has been set up, to come out and then know exactly what was their sort of take on this issue and whether something needs to be done or not.
Away from banking now, and the Ministry of Railway Development has signed a memorandum of understanding with the George Grant University of Mines and Technology for the establishment of a railway university at Isikado, a suburb of the Western region. Minister of Railway Development Joe Gatti says the development will boost the sector to enhance economic woes.
The Western line is from Sekedi Takrari to Kumasi with a branch line to Awasu. The Western line is being redesigned. The Ghana Railway Development Authority have been advised by the policy direction of the ministry in this regard. The policy direction is that the railway line must go to centers of concentrated economic activity and where there are mineral resources. We are therefore considering Shama, where there is a free zone enclave, and upon Mansi, where there are iron ore deposits for an extension of the Western line. We are also considering extending the Western line from Awasu to Yinehini, and this will serve two purposes. It will lead to the rich bauxite reserves at Yinehini and also provide an alternate means of transport to the cocoa sector in the northern part of the Western region, the western part of the Ashanti region, and the southern part of the Brown Afro region. On the Western line, the rehabilitation exercise being undertaken by workers of the Ghana Railway Company Limited between Kodokrom and Takwa has yielded two remarkable results. It has led to a remarkable decrease of incidents or derailments on the line. It has also enabled a locomotive to reach Takwa in November 2017. Since then, there has been test run of the passenger train to Takwa and also to Manso. The ballast train was at Takwa last week, and I had the opportunity to ride on the train to Isuta. I must report that the Ghana Railway Company, the workers of the Ghana Railway Company Limited.
Now, the Joy Business Health and Wellness Trade Show is only 6 days away. The event, which opens on Thursday at the Accra Digital Center, is under the theme Leveraging Research and Technology for Sustainable Access and Affordability. The trade show will focus on the general health and wellness industry, healthcare, pharmaceutical, herbal, and treatment, with exhibitors, businesses from these industries. Nova Wellness Center will be part of the event, and its chief executive, Dr. Na Asheli Dodo, has been speaking with us about the wellness industry and why the trade show is a must attend.
When we were in Adenta, when we first started, we were seeing maybe 20, maximum 30 a day. Now it can go up to 70, even 80 a day, who are coming in. Some of them are coming in to have their regular treatment. Some of them are coming in as new patients to make inquiries, to have consultations and things like that. So it's that we've definitely come a long way as far as the awareness and education that has gone out for chiropractic treatment.
Okay, and before we go, what's your impression about the Joy Business Health and Wellness Fair? What are your expectations?
I'm so excited for this. I've been looking forward to it ever since I was told about it, and I think it's about time. A lot of people don't even know what is out there. A lot of people, we're very traditional as Ghanaians, so when you're sick, you know, you have to go to the hospital, you get medication, and that's it. And this is going to give all Ghanaians an opportunity to learn about different health and wellness centers, different programs, the digital things like the doctor on the app and all that. So I think it's an excellent way, and also to bring people into this profession. You know, there are so many people who want to go into health. I mean, I don't think there's anything more satisfying than being able to take care of somebody else, and coming to this health and wellness fair would give somebody like that an opportunity to even see the different professions that they can go into to be able to help other people too. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So you don't have to miss the Joy Business Trade and Wellness Show, which starts from the 24th of this month and ends on the 26th. Now, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union is partnering its counterpart in the Netherlands to build capacity of women engaged in cocoa cultivation. The partnership with FNV Mondial, a global worker union, will focus on the state of cocoa production and labor in Ghana. General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Solomon Kote, says the move will not only empower Ghanaian cocoa farmers, but also increase productivity. He spoke with Love Business at the Trainer of Trainers program for ICU women members in Kumasi. Prince Apia reports.
Participants from all the 11 regions of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union are currently benefiting from a 2-day Trainer of Trainees capacity building workshop in Kumasi. It is a partnership between FNV Mondial, a global worker union, and the Industrial Commercial Workers Union of Ghana. The program is targeted at only women in the Workers' Union. The International Trades Union is partnering with ICU to enable it play its part in negotiation and dialogue and contribution to the realization of decent work, employment, fundamental rights at work, social security and social dialogue. It will also expose women in the worker union to their rights at the workplace. General Secretary of ICU, Solomon Kote, is excited this will empower the women to work efficiently.
Was to give capacity to the women to know that issues of equity and equality should not be a hold on the woman to rise up in whichever working endeavor they find themselves. And we are going to have an opportunity of training of the trainer so that whatever knowledge that will be dispensed over here, they go back and they also cascade it down to the rest of the membership. ICU want to have a knowledge-based union. We want to touch base with the grassroots. Who knows why they belong to the union? Who knows why, as a woman, you also still have influence? In fact, this meeting is also going to expose the women to know their rights and what even influences their contribution at the workplace.
The project, worth a total of 50,000 euros, started from 2017 and will last till 2020. Mr. Kote says the move will also empower Ghanaian cocoa farmers in a bid to help increase production.
Interested to see the fate of the cocoa farmer, whether the cocoa farmer is being cheated by the day. If government are saying we are managing them to give them instant market of their product, which is not a headache to any cocoa farmer. If the world price comes at $2,845 per ton, how much is the cocoa farmer getting? What are the dynamics that goes into that? They have tasked ICU to have an advocacy, tell the whole world how Ghana determines the cocoa price for the cocoa farmer. And in the coming weeks, we shall do that advocacy, bring cocoa farmers in sitting. In fact, next week, we will be in the central region to meet with some cocoa farmers and then share their story, share their pain. The FNV, and for that matter, the World Cocoa Conference, is interested to know where are we getting this product from? What type of labor are being used? You know, the world is looking at us in Africa that we are still using child labor for whatever we do. If it is true, they may ban our product. If it's also not true, then the needed support will come to us.
Prince Apia reporting.
And still on cocoa, President of the World Cocoa Foundation, Richard Scobie, has praised the efforts of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Cocoa Board for their effective collaboration with the private sector to ensure that cocoa continues to be a profitable venture in Ghana. In an interview with Adum News at the Tropical Forest Alliance 2020 series of events in Accra, Richard Scobie advocated a further enhanced collaboration to overcome the challenges of world price instability.
Ministry of Agriculture and the Cocoa Board are very committed to strengthening the incentives for cocoa farming and making sure that cocoa becomes, again, a profitable exercise compared to other crops. There had been a decline in the world prices for cocoa over the past year and a half because of global oversupply, which was creating problems for Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire and all cocoa farmers around the world. But the global supply has been stabilized and prices have increased. So I think we'll see cocoa farming being attractive again to the population. We think it's very important for the farmers and the government to collaborate with the private sector on improving yields. Ghana has maintained some of the lowest yields of cocoa around the world, about 400 to 500 kilos per hectare. With very straightforward and low-cost improvements, the Ghana farmers could be doubling that and getting 800 kilos to 1 ton from their farm. So the private sector wants to work with the farmers and with government to introduce improved planting material, work together to train farmers on good agricultural practices, and to promote fertilization and other organic manure.
Now, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture says it is working to maintain maize price stability on the market. This follows recent complaints by the Poultry Farmers Association that the high cost of maize is due to a shortage of the commodity on the market. But speaking to Joy Business, Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture George Oduro denied reports of shortage and assured that these measures would help control the situation.
Over the past week, there has been growing public concern about whether the current hike in prices of maize on the market is due to a shortage of the commodity or not. Currently, on average, a bag of 100 kilograms of maize hovers around 170 Ghana cedi per bag in some markets across the country. This is an upward adjustment from the about 150 Ghana cedi per bag earlier. Although admitting there is a hike in price, Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture George Oduro assures there are plans to ensure price stability in the future.
The main idea about this planting for food and job was to produce enough maize, enough soybeans, so that it will reflect to these poultry farmers. But don't forget, last year is the pilot, like the first year, and this is what you have encountered. Fortunately, the yield, we got what we were expected. So now we have realized the marketing has been the problem, and we have seen where that problem is coming from. So from this year onwards, we are going to solve it. So for the poultry farmers, the maize are there, but the price you just said. And let me tell you, maybe you are not aware of, every second quarter of every year in Ghana, that is March, April, May, June, there is a planting season, especially at the southern sector. So the price of maize goes up every year. Is something that is happening within the country. So this year is not new. In fact, if you check the price between last year and this year, I think it's about 9 cedis or 8 cedis or so as compared to last year and this year, same month. So, like I said, we have realized where the problem is coming from, the pricing. And we did the planting for food and jobs. We have enough maize. We have not done any importation yet, but we have enough maize. That means the project was successful. The only challenge we have realized is the pricing. So we knew where it came from, and we are going to address it from this year and next year onwards.
Joy Business checks, however, show the period between May and June every year records an upward adjustment in prices of maize. For instance, in the year 2015, the price of a bag of maize rose from 120 Ghana cedi a bag in January to 169 Ghana cedi a bag in July, then dropped to 140 Ghana cedi in October after the harvest the same year. Globally, current prices of maize have also increased from $155.84 per ton in January to $175.60 per ton as at April. Francis is the content manager at Agric Service Center Isoko, and he explains this trend.
Normally, when the planting season is about starting, all the maize that are in store normally would be getting finished around that time, and so people will want to sell and then cash in before the new one also comes, because at this time of the year you do not have any new maize coming in. It is the old stock that people have that they are trying to sell, and because of the demand, we should also know that for this year we are having a lot of demand in terms of the household consumption, and then for other purposes apart from household consumption. And so the little that we were able to get from last season, that is what we have been using till now. And so when you look at the prices from 2016, 2017, and then 2018, when you compare the prices so far, you realize that for this year, the prices are really up.
Sheila Tamaklos report for Joy Business.
Now, away from that, the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union, GNPTDU, is expected to hold an emergency meeting this Sunday over a new directive from the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. The new directive expects stakeholders to abide by the Energy Commission's manual, which regulates transportation and delivery of petroleum products in the country. The directive follows an ultimatum letter from the Tanker Drivers Union to the Energy Ministry to address some operational challenges. Kwame Yanka has more in this report.
The tanker drivers have been fighting for a major decision. The last happy with government's commitment so far. The emergency meeting at Ashaiman on Sunday is expected to school members of the union in the use of the Energy Commission's manual. Vice Chairman of GNPTDU, Sunday Alabi, disclosed this to Joy News.
Loading, they use it. Offloading, they don't want to use it. So when they use that manual now, the drivers will be relieved. The surcharging that they've been surcharging them would reduce, because the driver knows that I've been given 5 liters to go to station A. I'll not get there after measuring on my bulk, it's 5 liters. They will use the underground, which nobody knows what is in there, to tell the driver, oh, you've shot 1 liter or you shot 2 liters. But for that on the bulk, it's physical. You see, the driver sees, the dealer will see, the driver sees. So when it's not up to the level on his bulk, he knows that something goes on there. And in the manual, temperature plays a very important role in it. So when temperature varies in it, they have to use the temperature calculation to check whether it's an actual loss or it's an apparent loss.
Meanwhile, Mr. Alabi says they will monitor closely if the oil marketing companies will comply with the new directive.
And we only pray that it will not be just a letter being written to the OMCs and after a week they'll go back to the old process again. This must continue, because there's a review on even the manual, which is not out yet, but we are using this one until that one comes out. So I'm pleading all the OMCs to begin to go according to the directive being given by the MPA, so that everybody will work peacefully and amicably. And also the salary issues too have been addressed. The MPA is going to see to it that all those people they are not paying the right salaries to their drivers will make sure they do so.
Kwame Yanke's report for Joy News.
And on that note, we wrap up this afternoon's edition of The Marketplace. Thank you very much for keeping company with me throughout the week, and it's been great having you on board. My name is Emmanuel Boaji. Let's meet again same time next Monday for more business news updates. Have a good afternoon.